Hi everybody, this is Let's Play 2025 March week 3 and it's embellishing this week. So I did some basting of what I do know about my embellishing just to have it started. I haven't stitched anything, but I've done some basting down and I thought I'd share that with you to start. Let's see, where shall we start? I did get this down here and I really do like how that turned out, and I might do some embroidery on top of it. Stay tuned, I'm not 100% sure. I basted that down. I've known that all along. I did end up, I haven't basted it yet, but it's pinned and that's why it's so wonky. I did end up liking this. I do like the subtle green growth that sort of goes along with this, and I did end up liking it, and I did base this down, and I'll get back to that in a minute. Okay, let's see what else. Oh yes, I basted the center piece with my matchy piece, and just to let you know, I lined it with a piece of thin batting just to give it an extra layer dimension. And I have some embroidery I planned for this. I'll show you when I get to that. And I did end up, or I mean, I had already said I was going to, but I did take this lace and baste it down here. And what I did with it is, I thought this was kind of a fun thing. I love experimenting and auditioning, and really some of my best ideas just come from playing and auditioning. But I liked when I layered two of them on top of each other and matched them up. The scallops match, but the inner scallops also do an effect like so. So that's what I've got going here. The basting doesn't let you see that so much. And I still do plan. Sorry, there was an interruption. My whole camera tripod thing just went flying over. It had nothing to do with me touching it. It's just because I've raised it up, it's not as steady as it had been. Now I've got it bungee corded down. We'll see if that helps. Okay, back at it. I still do plan to use this. And what I'm thinking, again, nothing is in stone, is crisscross lacing this across the center section there, all the way down, and then bowing, having a little bow at the bottom. We'll see. I think that'll work well. I love the contrast of those two colors. So that's the plan for that. Now, what else was, oh yes. So, oh, and I do have this ready. I'm double checking now to see that I'm on camera. Okay, I did baste that piece. I cut it and basted it in a strip of that. So that, ignore that, that's going to get cut off. But this is going to cover the top here. And I'm really liking how that's going to look. Very pleased with that. And then funny enough, once I had cut that piece off, again, auditioning really can come up with some ideas. I kind of like this right here, like this. I might. These two are still undetermined as to what I'm going to do with them, so I kind of like this. So I'm playing with that idea. And speaking of auditioning, I had a little baggie of I've got a little box of novelty buttons, and in that I have a little bag of green novelty trees, different kinds of trees. This one was similar to this one, and when I saw them I thought, no, I'm not going to use that on my piece. They're plastic little trees. Why would I do that? But again, auditioning can change your mind. When I put the three of them here, something like this, I loved how the forest kind of comes out of that block and kind of travels into the whole piece a little bit. So I think I am going to put them sort of falling out of the little forest I have in my piece right there. Okay, there's that. Oh yes, let's get back to this. Still in the camera? Yes, good. Okay, when I decided I did end up liking this, and you know how pleased I was that I had that, because I'm really loving this kind of trim, and I really don't know where I got them all from. I don't. I think they must have come from the same place, but I don't even remember getting them. Anyways, when I basted them on, it's dull. It's so much green, even with this on the top. It's still so much green framing this piece. So then it occurred to me, well, could I fix this by lacing this silk ribbon in, a little bit like I did with that straight piece at the bottom of February's. But it seemed kind of predictable and boring. So there was a little nag in my head this whole time that kept saying, why don't I have an orange version of this? And I actually do. I have this rust one that's a little smaller, but it's not the right orange for this project. So, but there was this nagging, well, why don't I have an orange one? Why don't I have an orange one? And then I remembered that I have a bag of trims that I haven't sorted into color yet. They're just sitting there. I wasn't in, yeah, anyways. So this morning I just decided I'm going to go have a peek. Do I have any orange trim in there? And guess what I found? I found it in orange. I was so thrilled. The cats wasn't sure why I was shrieking, but I was, because that is just so much better right there in orange, this peach, than the green is. I think that's hysterical that I actually have some and I found it, and I'm very, very pleased. Anyways, doesn't that spark it so much better than just the straight green one? It does. Okay, so that's where I am now, basted down, and I'm going to, as I've said in the previous months, I work with what I know first and what's at the bottom and build myself up. So I'm going to just start stitching the different pieces down. Probably start right here. And when I get to some point, like maybe the lacing of this or the embroidery of that, I'll come back and I'll update you. And yes, stay tuned. I still have a plan for here. The hint I'll give you is it's going to be flowers, kind of in a 3D bit, a little batch of flowers. That'll be a fun little tutorial I'll have for you. And yeah, now I'm going to go stitch and play. Okay, I'm back. The lighting's not the best, but I have to get this week's video uploaded, so I thought I'd just go ahead because there is light. This is what I've stitched this week. So I did get this stitched down, and I did add the embroidery to this line with little French knots. And what else did I get done? This is just pinned. I stitched the edges of this down, and then I did the lacing. It's cute, but it's not as I imagined it to be. I think probably because my choice of where I stitched wasn't exactly even, and that's kind of nagging at me a little bit. But other than that, not enough to make me pull it out, so it's all good. Well, oh yes, and I did add this here. I really like that. And I did the closed blanket stitch on the bottom, and then I did a really sort of large version of a chevron. I think it's called a chevron. Yes, the chevron stitch at the top. And I'm in the process of stitching the outer side of this down. You can see that I've done, that I've not done, but I'm gonna lay it down so I can show you. This was bugging me. I mean, I love that I've got the orange, but the points of the orange is overlapping the scallop of this design, and that was bugging me. So as I was stitching, it occurred to me, who says I have to have the points like that? It's all playing, right? So what I'm going to do and what I've decided to do is I'm going to take each, as I stitch the top part, I'm going to take each point and bend it over like that. Let's see. So all the way down so the scallop shows again. And where the point is bent over, I'm going to, I think, add one of these green beads. So I'll have a green bead all the way down. I think that'd be actually a nice addition, which I hadn't really originally thought of. So that's what the plan is for that. I still didn't do the stitching here. I didn't even draw. I was going to draw out, because there's a spacing thing, so I was going to draw it out, and I didn't even get that done. But it's been an interesting stitching week nonetheless. This tutorial for this will come next week, and I'll finish it all up next week too. So that's where I am as far as embellishing goes. If you have any questions, let me know. Yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.